Hi, this is Michael Senoff with Michael Senoff's HardToFindSeminars.com. The title of this interview is called 7 Marketing Tips You Can Learn from the Music Industry. Digital products are digital products. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with songs or audio interviews. They all need to be promoted in the best way possible. So in this audio, I'll interview Bobby Lee, a professional manager for entertainers who's going to tell us how the marketing is done in the music industry. According to Bobby, like most everything else nowadays, the music industry is feeling the slump from the ailing economy. Not as many people can afford to go to concerts, and a lot of people still download music illegally. But there are ways to make the most of marketing campaigns in an economy while also protecting your assets and getting your name out there. And in this audio, you'll learn all about them. You'll also learn how artists use Twitter, LimeWire, YouTube, and iTunes to promote their products and generate business. You'll learn how most artists run their back-end merchandising, so they're minimizing expenses and maximizing as much profit as possible. You'll learn exactly what sells the best at merchandising tables. You'll learn how Bobby gets his band's name out there locally and beyond, and whether or not all press is really good press. You'll learn how copyrights work, when you need one, and ways to do it cheaply. You'll learn how to make quality demos from the comfort of your own living room. And you'll learn tips for selling online and building a fan base. Even though the music industry is complicated and cutthroat, there are many marketing lessons you can take from it and apply to any promotion. And in this audio, you'll hear all about them, along with an insider's look at how the music industry works and how to make the most of it. Get ready, and thanks for listening.
What I advise every artist to do is, as soon as you write that song, copyright it. And the first thing you should do, even though I don't know if it holds up in court or not anymore, I know it used to, was called a poor man's copyright, which was basically mailing a copy of the lyrics to yourself through the mail, and when you get it back in the mail, don't open the envelope, just leave it the way it is and put it away somewhere. The stamp shows the date that it was done. Now, then there's also getting involved with the Library of Congress, registering your music there. So there's a lot of different ways to copyright music.
I'm real excited to do this. The music promotion and production business has always been interesting to me, especially since I've been doing all these interviews, because you as a producer or as a promoter, I look at all my audio recordings, and people in the music business who are trying to make it in the music business, they're selling music, but with my digital audio, I want to try and learn what I can from you about how people are doing it right in the music business and see if I can kind of correlate it to some of the stuff I'm doing with my digital audio interviews. Tell me your name, where you're from, and what do you call yourself within the music business?
Well, my name is Bobby Lee, and I have a company called Phoenix Rising Productions, and what we do is we manage entertainers. We do personal management for entertainers, which basically means that we are the buffer between the artist and the rest of the world, including their business world. I'm currently located in Atlanta, Georgia, and have an office in Florida as well. Main office for us is in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, I'm from Atlanta originally.
Beautiful city. I love it there.
Where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from the Bronx.
Okay. How long have you been in Atlanta?
5 years.
Where's your office? What part of Atlanta?
Right by the Atlanta Zoo.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Were you a musician first?
I played bass since I was about 13 or 14 years old. If I were any good at it, I would have been Gene Simmons by now.
Yeah, he's doing quite well.
Man, he really is something else.
Okay, so you played bass for a while, and so how did you get into the management business? Have you always been involved in music?
Pretty much always, yeah. There's only really 2 things that ever really interested me for a career. One of the 2 being the music industry, because I have a cousin who was actually the drummer for Marilyn Monroe when she used to tour the USOs. And he went on to become a vice president for Capitol Records and then an artist manager, and he's now retired from the business. It wasn't just him. It was growing up in the 80s with all that hair metal and that sort of thing that got me really interested in the music business. Yes, I was what you would call one of those troubled teens that turned to music.
Yeah. How long have you been doing the music management?
Doing management now since '93.
So give me an example. Who approaches you? When does a musician, whether they're a solo recording artist or whether they're a garage band or getting some notoriety, when does an artist come to you, or at what time does an artist need a manager?
Well, it's really hard to say, but a lot of times what should happen is an artist should run their music by their friends first. From that point forward, you have to gauge what kind of response you're getting from the crowds if you're even playing shows. For the most part, with a new artist, if you're not playing shows, you don't have any reason to have a manager.
If you don't have product ready to sell in the stores, you don't need a manager. But a lot of times what bands will do is they will run it by their friends, run it by their fans, gauge the response they're getting. Sometimes they'll go through a music attorney, a music business, or an entertainment attorney to find a manager. Sometimes they'll only use an entertainment attorney as a manager. It's really, there's no cut and dry way to do it.
You mentioned an entertainment attorney. So give me an example of like a band that's really hot. Maybe take me back from when they just started and they were playing shows and they started getting some notoriety. Can you think of a case study at what point they contacted a manager, or they probably didn't know what the hell to do? They probably just only knew how to play music and have a good time. But at what point does one need to contact an entertainment attorney and a manager? Any case study that you can kind of give an example of? Maybe even one of your clients.
There's not one particular band that I can think of that I can give you as a case study, but I can tell you that basically when you think you're ready, when you have a quality demo, which is usually 4 to 6 songs, and I mean quality produced in the studio, when you have a fan base where it can be justified to put you on the road, where you've proven that you've done marketing on your own, you may even have some radio airplay, that's the point where a manager will usually look to get involved. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine that's a manager out of New York, I had a jazz artist contact me a couple of days ago, and I have enough on my plate right now. But I asked him, I said, are you interested in a jazz artist? And his immediate response was, is she ongoing or is she brand new? And I told him she's ongoing. He said, well then, yeah, because I don't have the time to deal with something brand new. See, it takes a lot for a manager to take a brand new artist.
Because he's got to do all the marketing.
Exactly. He's got to do all the marketing, and you got to babysit the band. You got to teach them a lot of things. You got to deal with a lot of hassle, basically. And I don't mean hassle in a bad way, but it's like dealing with a group of kids that have not yet figured out how to play nice with each other.
And that's hard work.
It is, because it's become commonplace for a manager to also be a babysitter. I'm using that in quotes. It shouldn't have to be that way. If you're going to come to a manager and you're going to ask for a manager's help, then you should be responsible and mature enough to be able to handle the entire thing on a business level.
Unless you see something in that group that just blows you away and that maybe the band doesn't even realize what they have.
Exactly. And an example of that, as a matter of fact, would be I have an artist. She's 17 years old. Her name is Cashley Clausen. And I see something in her now that I believe she's going to be very big.
Okay, so do you approach her?
I approached her in this case.
What do you say when you approach her?
Basically what happened in this case, again, no situation is the same, but what happened in this case was I ran across her on MySpace. And as soon as I realized that she was underage, that presents a whole lot of other issues as well. So I contacted her through MySpace and asked her if anybody was handling her career. She responded with no. I said, well, I'd like to speak with you because I'm interested in your music. I'd like to speak with you with your parents' permission. And that happened. And we didn't actually physically meet each other face-to-face for almost 2 years. We talked on the phone dozens and dozens of times. She's been coming to me with her parents for advice on what she should do for about a year and a half. And we just met face-to-face about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, what kind of artist is she?
I compare her a lot to Avril Lavigne, but don't tell her that because she'll throw something at you.
Yeah.
She doesn't like that too much. She's trying to feel her way through. She's a much better rock artist or electric artist than she is acoustic. But because with her acoustic writing, the problem is she's writing all the stuff on her own, the lyrics on her own. And I probably shouldn't tell you, she's never had a boyfriend. The lyrics that I'm hearing out of her are things that you would hear a 25 to 30-year-old dejected woman write. And I don't want to put that out there because I don't think that they're going to find it credible coming from a 17-year-old. But when she does a rock tune, it's amazing. Her voice is amazing. Her guitar playing is amazing.
Hi, it's Michael Senoff with HardToFindSeminars.com. Thanks for watching this video. You know, many of my interviews last 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, sometimes even up to 2.5 hours long. They're actual mini-seminars, and you've just listened to a short sample of just one of over 117 hours of exciting, hard-hitting, mind-blowing interviews on how to make money in direct mail, advertising, copywriting. I assure you, there is not a resource anywhere on the internet or on the planet that comes close to the free information I provide at HardToFindSeminars.com. So go right now to HardToFindSeminars.com and you'll have free access to 117 hours of audio interviews with typed word-for-word downloadable transcripts and downloadable MP3 files. Please browse some more of the videos or go right directly to HardToFindSeminars.com. Thanks for watching.